I'll be giving you a demo also, like how I do it in every session. So I'll be giving you a demo because today we talk a lot about Chat GPT, we talk about a lot about Delhi E and a lot of things like that. So what is actually OpenAI? And there's a huge scope for you all to basically get a job into this because this is something which is new, evolving, and will stay there for another at least 3 years. And if you can scale up and you can develop yourself, then it may be something which is really new in the era of the AI. So last time when I was starting, see, I was telling you in the Zoom also, you have something called OpenAI. So now we can see that in the Zoom, when you launch a Zoom premium paid package, like what we are now using, in that you have something called AI companion. And you can enable that AI companion to ask question, to catch up on meeting, all those kinds of stuffs are there. So AI is being integrated in every kind of thing. So let us start with OpenAI first. Just give me a few seconds. Okay, so you all can see the screen. You can write in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let us see how this OpenAI or new generation of AI, which is called GPT-4 now, or GPT-5, it will keep on going on version from one version to two. So last time we were talking about OpenAI. I told you that OpenAI is a San Francisco-based company. They started this concept of OpenAI where they said that let us have a kind of a AI which will be used by all, which will be open to all, and it will be a kind of a positive force. This open AI direction of development will be for the benefit of humans. That means for us. And I told about how Ray Karjival, who is also the machine learning director in Google, he also said that AI should be free to be used. It should not be only for the technical person. It should be that everybody should know and they should get benefit of this. And they can, this open AI should focus on creative, creativity or something like that. So then the Bill Gates of the Microsoft, who was always saying that the AI is very amazing, but at the same time it can be a threat to human being, and all those kinds of stuff were there. So one of the person, Elon Musk, who joined with certain CEO, and he started this company with certain people, which was a non-profit organization in 2015. And his partner were Sam Altman, the former ex-president of Accelerator Y Combinator, a very big company. Then also the Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn. All these people who are the creator of PayPal also, they started this company. But later on, what happened? The Microsoft, they joined hand into it, and they were also acknowledging their concern about risk of future AI on the human jobs or anything, and they also wanted to prevent. And Microsoft partnered with OpenAI to develop a friendly AI, which was also called AGI, the artificial general intelligence, which will require, the which will allow the normal people to access AI without any knowledge, prior knowledge. It's like for a common people to, but later on Microsoft has pledged over $1 billion into this, and now no longer it is free, but the people who have created account in ChatGPT or certain features are free. For certain three, I will show you that by when I will be giving you demo. So in 2016 April, they basically no, sorry, in 2021, ChatGPT became very popular. 2022, Microsoft own now OpenAI, and no longer it is free now. So what happens now? The Microsoft is trying to integrate these generative AI feature into their uh, main what you call products, the star product, like operating systems or Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office kind of thing, in Excel and all those things are happening. So this is how the OpenAI worked. It developed in 2016. They would develop their first product called OpenAI Gym, and this was in 2016. And this particular product, OpenAI Gym, was meant for the interaction with computer screen, like how we interact with the computer screen with the input device like keyboard and mouse. So automatically it will interact with keyboard and mouse, which didn't become very popular. People didn't like it, or it was not very popular. Not people, it didn't came to the public domain. People don't know about it. Then in 2016 December, they also developed a generative pre-training version, the first version of GPT software, and it was based on generative model, which I will be discussing in this particular session today. That what is a GPT version based on, how does it work, and then in 2018, they named it as GPT. GPT basically is a generative data defined, technology or thing. So it is a non-profit enterprises became a profit enterprises now, and now they basically, and even Elon Musk has left it, and he is no longer into it. 2019 onwards, it became a profitable when Microsoft invested, and now is looking for people to pay money to use these services. Okay. So now talking about OpenAI, is there any rule and regulation, or a lot of people are talking in the media about ethics, biasness, a lot of things. They are saying that this is not good. It is going to kill the human jobs. Already human jobs are killed by the AI applications, but now this is also going to do that. It is not for the benefit of humanity. It is going to kill the creativity. And also certain books talks, like for example, this is a bestseller book on machine ethics. It talks about that how AI can kill the creativity of the artist, of the people who are in the field of writing. For example, the writer, the content developer, the programmer also, and a lot of things like that. So, what does the machine ethics include? So, machine ethics, this particular book talk about machine ethics such as biasness in AI. You remember in one of the session I told you that if you want to go to generative AI and write a poor person, it will create a image of a person who has a black skin. And if you write person, it will create a image of a person with a white skin. So there's a kind of a biasness which is happening. It is not the fault, but it is the way the AI is trained. In the last session, I showed you a model of supervised learning or label data, where I took you to the table machine of google.com, and I showed you how it works at the back and how you don't have to use a code, and but still you work with the data. So it depends on the data, the kind of data you're feeding. It is not that AI is deciding on its own. So uh, OpenAI, there are so group of company who came towards this development of OpenAI concept, and they came up with something called some charter, and they said let us follow some rules, because there's no legal framework to guide the development and the application of generative or OpenAI. So they said that let's have the mission of the AI, OpenAI, from the beginning fulfilled by creating a charter. And they publish a charter which is available on the OpenAI platform. I have given the website address also, openai.com/charter. On this, they have expressed their certain principles or the guidelines. So let us see what are those guidelines, students. So the first guidelines are, there are four major principles on which they said we can develop. One, that it should be for the benefit of everybody. That means it should be called AJI. Remember this, all these will be used when you're going for any what you called interview. So AGI is the artificial general AI. That means it is used by everybody. So AI should be very user friendly, and it should be for the benefit of everyone and advantage of humanity. So the second AI was for research and development. That this particular AI platform should be used for research and development by students community, by educators, by the corporate, for doing everything, or by marketing people, anything. So this is one thing which they said this can be used for that. The second is the third one is that it should be strive to be leader in both AI and AGI. So that it can create a knowledge of cutting edge capability of the technologies, and it can amplify the benefit for humans. Finally, the fourth principle is that it should be a broad collaboration with research and the policy institution. So who create policies? Policies are created by regulators. Who are regulators? In every country, the regulators are government. The government which run the, it can be a central government, it can be a state government, but especially in a country, a state central government decide whether they want to ban a particular technology or they want to use the technology, to what extent, what should be the regulation related to this particular. For example, let's say blockchain in India. It is still not accepted as a valid currency, the digital currency, though many people are using, but still in many of the Indian transaction within the Indian boundary, it is not considered. So similarly, this is how the collaboration with the policymaker and the research team should be there. So these are the four principles on the basis of which they all agreed. Every company from Microsoft is mainly into OpenAI, because they are the people who have who are the first mover, and they have the first mover advantage, so that the people who are uh, at present dominating, but there are many companies who are already into OpenAI. So now, let us. So these are the principles which are used for, creating a kind of rules. It is not a regulation; it is rules, so that everybody follow this. Now, let us understand, student, very important. Please pay attention here, because you have to understand how this particular generative AI, or it is this AI works for, just a minute. So now what happens? One of the so what is the basis, or the what is the model, or the uh, idea or the principle on which the GPT work or generative AI work? So to create an so GPT basically is a human based text generation. So the quality of this is very high. So often it is very difficult to distinguish from that if you write something, whether it is written by human or AI. Today we have a lot of software, especially the plagiarism software like Turnitin and all, which can distinguish whether an article is written by a AI or it is written by human. So, but we see that GPT-3, which became very popular, or I may say that it was hyped in 2022 by a lot of people, even a lot of you are using it, which gives a high quality output. Uh, so let us see what is the technique employed in GPT-3. Okay, and we will understand that. So GPT-3 basically utilized an approach that is an intersection of AI, computer science, and human language, which is called natural language processing, NLP, which is one of the domain of AI. All of you might be studying about NLP. So let us understand the basic of NLP. So understanding the basic of NLP do what? It will help you in contextualizing and appreciating the technique behind GPT. So let us begin with an example of NLP in action. Okay. Where do we see NLP in our day-to-day life? Like, for example, many of us know the voice command to digital devices like Alexa, Google Home, or even to your uh, Google search. So we ask our smartphone also and laptop also through voice with all kinds of request and command. These devices listen to our words and they try to make sense out of it. They derive a meaning and they process the input and execute some action such as providing or playing your favorite song. Suppose you say, Siri, play my favorite song, or Alexa, play my favorite song. Okay. Or call this number. And you say, call my, suppose you have a contact of your father as father, call my father number, or send this SMS message, send this WhatsApp message. So it understand and try to create an action. So this is all done through NLP, natural language processing. The same technology will make sense of voice command also, where text, instead of text, you are giving a voice command to the computer. Instead of writing text from the keyboard, you are doing from this. So even chatbots, search engines, then language translation, Google language translation, spell check in Gmail or any, or in Word, in the online document creation, sentiment analysis by e-commerce company, where you write your review. So from your review, they try to find out whether it's a positive review, negative review, or it's a neutral review. So all these kinds of emotions can be converted by NLP into some meaning, just like human being. So NLP is a state of art software. Now, when we talk about high level NLP, generally, how does it work? The software need to pre-process the text in a sentence in order to provide some form of structure. So one of the way to do is, if I have to explain you, is to break the sentence, okay, into each word. For example, if I write this or if I speak, he does not play, but my daughter is on hockey team. So what will you understand? Just think, read the sentence. He does not play, but my daughter is on hockey team. Now, if you have to understand who is the person who is speaking about that, who is he related to that person who's speaking? So obviously you can make out that daughter means that person is a father, and most probably this person he is talking about is a son. Right? Now, how does NLP work here? So first, what NLP will do? The NLP will break the sentence into words. It is called tokenization. What it is called? Tokenization. If you can see here, he does not play. Every word is broken, and this is called tokenization. Now, individual word is called token. He is token, thus, so many tokens are there. And punctuation is removed here, right? So two words can be identified. Second thing is the word is identified and tagged as now. After doing this, what is happened after tokenization? It is now tagged as the part of the grammar. Like, for example, it is noun, or whether it is a conjunction, it's a pronoun, it's a verb, it's an article, adjective. So this is the second process. First process is breaking tokenization. Second process, each word need to be tagged as the part of the speech. The third is the application, something called stemming. This is, I'm telling you the process of NLP. Stemming means that the word from which that particular word has originated, the root word. So this is, for example, the root word for banks, banker, and banking is bank. Bank is a root word. From here, you can use this word bank, banker, and banking. So the word bank, banker, and banking are all associated with the root word bank. This root word is called stem. So root word will also be used to assign the context for all the other. 1 minute. Once a text has been pre-processed, so now this is how the thing happens. So now all these texts is now pre-processed with stemming, tokenization, and stemming. After that, the machine learning algorithm will use to interpret this data. Now, this algorithm use statistical model based on huge volume of example data, which is also called training data. I think you might have understood by now what is training data. Last class, I showed you a demo of that. And this training data will suggest what action has to be performed. So in the pre-process, text is analyzed by ML, machine learning algorithm. It is looking for the word, phrase, pattern of the text that are similar to the training data, right? And if there is a high probability that word and context are understood, the NLP now know the topic of the text. So NLP can be used for something to generate in generative technology. NLP convert this into something called NLG, natural language generation, and the process of analyzing, pre-processing text and interpreting, and then providing a new content. What happens in normal AI, like Alexa, Siri, and all voice command? You have NLP, where it divides the sentence, try to understand what do you mean by breaking into tokens, then stemming into it, then avoid putting the part, and then using the machine learning algorithm with a training set of data to understand the context of that sentence and all these. But generative technology, the GPT, what it does, it goes one step ahead. It understands the text and generate the new content for you. Okay. So from NLP, we get general. Now let us understand GPT-3. So GPT-3, now we have a version 4. Some people, I think I'm using GPT 3.5, and GPT now, I think if you're lucky, if you can get a access to it, otherwise you can just join GPT with some ID. And I joined it in 2022, so I still have that ID. I will show you how it works. So GPT-3, what is a full form of GPT? GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. Again, I will repeat, generative pre-trained transformer. And 3 is a version. Okay. It became very popular. Before that, it has 2.5 and 2, which was not very popular. But in 2022, May 2022, GPT became very popular and hyped, and it created huge demand. Everybody started talking about it. Everybody started knowing about it. Now it is widely used by marketing, by many people, by educator, by students. So GPT-3 use advanced algorithm. What it does, it uses the set of rules for problem solving that computer follow. It used lots and lots of data to create human-like text and output. Okay, and it uses something called natural language processing, NLP. Through NLP, it produces something called NLG, which I told you, natural language generation. It generates the content for you, text to text content. So GPT-3 is text to text generation. That means you give some command in text and you get output also in text. So input is in the form of text, output is also in the form of text. The quality of output that GPT-3 produces is so good that it is very difficult to imagine that whether it is a human generated text or a AI generated. GPT-3 can generate meaningful stories, poems, email, whatever you want. I will show you something which you can use it for a normal use. So for example, GPT-3, if I show you something apart, we should know how to use all these generative AI tools with properly, or how does it gives advantage for us in our as a student or as a professional. So GPT-3 is entire thing is based on training data, as I told you. And so what happens if suppose whenever you are going to sign an MOU or a contract or a legal document, it is very, very difficult firstly to understand that document. And these documents, how do you make sure that you convert this legal clause into a plain English? Or summarize the entire paragraph into 2 lines. so that it is easy for a normal person to understand. So you can just put the clause, the legal clause. For example, I've given you this, I just copied from GPT. So I copied this company, MOU. So this legal clause, when you put into GPT and say turn it into plain or understandable English, it will give you this. So this is how the GPT will generative model use the existing knowledge of the language and create, understand what a user want and create that for you. Okay. So this is called generative model. And one more point is that it basically uses the existing knowledge, which is in the form of data, training data, and also predict the word come next. I'll give you examples. For example, whenever we say once upon a time, what do you think? Think about it. You might have heard it a lot of time. Maybe first time you might have heard it from your parents, or maybe from teachers. When they say once upon a time, immediately you will complete the sentence and say there was a king, or there was a queen, or there was somebody, and you create a story. So let us assume that you are doing an activity in the classroom where you stand in a line and your teacher tell one person, she starts saying that you have to complete and create a story by the time we come to the last student. So the first person says, once upon a time, there was a king. Then it moves to the second person, and the second person says, the king was living and he has a 12 kings or queens and all those kinds of stuff. And then you create a story. So nobody knows actually, and everybody's creating. So this is how the GPT model, what it does, it predicts the next word based on the analysis of large corpus of content, volume of the content which is present in the form of training data on the internet source. And this training data is acquired from variety of sources. And the most commonly sourced which GPT uses Wikipedia and Common Crawls. Wikipedia and Common Crawls has a free set of data with about trillions of words, and it can extract the kind of a content from the internet. So, and what it does, it create a original content. Okay. Now what this is called generative. What is pre-trained? Pre-trained means, let us see one word each. Generative means generate a new content from the old content. Like I showed you the legal data. Pre-trained means there is already a set of data. The source data can be from Wikipedia and Common Crawls, which can extract the data from various sites, which is already there. And these data is, so this is, the AI is trained with those pre-trained. So generative pre-trained transformer. And then it transforms that data into a new kind. So all these are called also one of the domain of AI, which we say deep learning. Okay. So deep learning is basically based on 70 years of research, and especially in the neural network, the network which allow the AI or which build the capability in AI to learn from the training data. For example, in AI PI ecosystem, for example, if we want to feed, we want the AI to recognize bicycle. So what are we going to do? We feed huge volume of existing bicycle data, right? Different kinds. Every bicycle will have one common feature, that it will have two tires, two wheels, okay? And the shape, size, color, design will vary, right? So we feed huge volume of data and existing vehicle, and it tried to learn just from the way the human brain learn. It tried to mimic that function of the brain. Right. And this type of neural network used in GPT is called transformer, where it transforms the existing data and understand and do the prediction. Okay. So this is how this is done. So there's a lot of nodes in which it goes through and try to understand. So neural network is all about the network consists of web of connected nodes or computational units. You all have studied about neural networks. I'll not go in detail about that. And then one of these, so sorry. So the thing is, what makes GPT-3 now we have to understand a game changer. If we compare it to the the version of the GPT-3 prior to this, which was GPT-2, which had 1.5 billion user, GPT-3 has 175 billion user. So from 1.5 user, see, you can see here, GPT-3 suddenly jumped and it has 175 billion user, which is 10 times the size of the next largest model. So this is the energy. So how this has become big? Why people are using GPT-3s in such a wide extent? Okay, so the process of learning from the data and all these things, they're all fine. There's so many companies who are already into it. There will be some example which I will tell you, because this is the model parameters and all these things. It will complete the next sentence for you and all those kinds that is already there. So I'll give you one example. Okay. How does it learn? And this is also a concept in NLP, which we say few shot learning or zero shot learning and few shot learning. Okay. So how does it happen in zero shot learning and how does it happen in few shot learning or one shot learning? So there are three concepts: zero shot learning, one shot learning, and few shot learning. Okay. So we need to understand this. Okay. For example, let's say we want to use AI to transform certain word from English to French. And we just enter the word cheese. And we didn't give any instruction to the computer. We just route cheese. And we wait for the AI to translate. What will happen? Since the algorithm doesn't know that whether we want to, what we want to do, we are not clear whether we want to translate cheese into language. If it is, then in what language and what it is going to do with this. This is called zero shot learning. In other words, we provide no guidance. That is called zero shot learning. However, if we feed the AI with something like this, for example, with some guidance, okay, which we say, some kind of a guidance. We feed that friend equals to ami. Ami is a French word of friend. Then cheese equal to. So we have given some kind of a guidance for the AI. And this is called one shot learning. Zero shot, we are not giving any guidance. In one shot, we gave one clue, one guidance. And as soon as we say cheese, what happens? It has something to now look for a pattern. So it will look for a pattern in its existing large language model and find the right answer. Now, again, if we give more guidance, more examples, like house is equal to Mason, friend Emmy, and rain pluie. Then cheese equal to, this is called few shot learning. The likelihood of GPT-3 getting the right answer is very, very high here. Why? So it will immediately come up with that. And this is the good result from zero shot learning to one and few shot learning. Okay. So unlike the previous version of GPT-3, it is now, this particular version, GPT-3 or 3.5, is not freely available, as I said. And it works like this. It goes into its data, try to find a pattern from the clue or whatever instruction or the guidance you're providing. So this is what I told you, certain models. Now let us look into some of the example of GPT-3 where we are using. Okay. So now the Microsoft, as I said, is trying to integrate this with their own Microsoft product. But let us look at a few more examples that how it is using. GPT-3 is going to be used in Google Sheet also, where you can have some cell included with population. I tried today in the morning, but in my system it was not working. But in Google Sheet, you can try to write the US state, certain state in India, and you write the population. And that is the guidance you are giving. And then write one state where you don't know the population. So what happens in GPT, and you write the formula equal to GPT-3, and you select the entire cell. So what happens, the GPT-3 will try to extract the population from the reliable source and fill it up automatically for you. So this is not happening now, but I saw it with some other computer where it was working. So GPT-3 is the process where we can see that you can become very smart. This is how the Microsoft is going to integrate. Microsoft has already integrated into Word also, but the latest version has GPT-3, Word and Excel, where you can do. You can see certain examples. So Google Sheet, I told you the example that you can automatically get the data by using GPT-3 formula, and GPT-3 will generate the code with the help of tbuild.co. You can go to the site, it will develop the code, and this is very good software, programming software. And then you have the GPT-3 already, I told you, it will answer you certain questions. Okay. And then you have this particular site called thispersondoesnotexist.com. So normally we say that if we try to search a picture of somebody, you find a similar kind of a picture because everybody says that you have similarity with somebody in the world. But if you want to use somebody's picture, whose picture that person does not exist, but it doesn't match with anybody's face, then you go to this particular thing which is based on generative AI, and you can generate a face which does not exist. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay. You can write a campaign using a GPT-3 thing, which I will show you in now. And you can just generate a kind of a image. Now in GPT also you have something text to image also. Not in GPT, in AI. I will show you that also, text to image. So there are three things in generative AI. Text to text, which is GPT. And then you have text to image, and like DALI-E, which I'll show you, or text to video, like in video and all. I will show you these three examples to you, that how generative AI are used. So you have a lot of things. So as I said that GPT-3, GPT is basically text to text. Then you have DALI, which is also from Microsoft, and which is text to image. I'll show you that also. You have Pixar, some examples of that I'll just show you. This you can create images. I'll show you this. But before I show you, I'll just complete this. So when we say GPT-3, what are the challenges? It is a very successful evolution, and a lot of people are using it. It has become very popular among people, but it has two technical imperfections. One, it has some human bias. Okay, and GPT-3 is also very expensive. Now, the cost of developing algorithm for this and collecting the data and all these things has become very expensive for the company to allow it to be used by the people for free of cost, the general AGI, which I was telling you. And producing human like short text is good, but when you want to put a generate a large amount of text with complexity, the output is not so good. It is not so impressive. Then Common Ground and Wikipedia is the main source of data, and it contains trillions of word or billions of training data. So actual intelligence sometimes may not work. And the last, very importantly, it is that if you go to GPT-3, you'll find they don't have a data after certain dates. For example, 2021. Okay, so all the data are old. The latest data will not be present. GPT-3 use also the unsupervised learning. So that is also there. Unsupervised means information is not labeled or flagged. So algorithm learn by looking or determining the pattern. Supervised learning is opposite. It is guided by the certain kinds of pattern, which make it easy for the people, for the AI to understand and use it. Then all these kinds of things are there. So some people also, for example, Sam Altman, who was also involved in OpenAI, he said that GPT-3 is hyped too much. It is impressive, but that it has a lot of weaknesses also which are there, because there's a lot of factual uh, truth which are missing into it, because a certain data is based on the data which is available. Then I said that the shortcoming is technical, and then short text data, it can be a very good, but with the large text data, it is not so good. Okay. Then secondly is that it takes the data from all these resources. So the training data may not be so good into from this. Let's say take one example here. Okay. You all can read this. If I read it for you, you are a defense lawyer and you have to go to court today. Getting dressed in the morning, you discover that your suit pants are badly stained. However, your bathing suit is clean and very stylish. In fact, it is expensive French couture, sorry. It was a birthday present from Isabel. And you decided that you should wear and what should come next. So give it to ChatGPT or AI and ask the AI or ChatGPT, just a minute, just a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Can anybody tell me? I'm not able to
Yes,
hear.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, can you just write in the chat box? Anybody? Yes, I'm unable to hear anyone. Can anybody write in the chat box? Okay, fine. Thank you so much. So now, so if you see this particular sentence and you ask the AI, I'm just showing you the weakness. And this is a large text, not a short text. They have overcome this. I'm just telling you when they started what was a problem. So now if you want to ask GPT or AI to complete this, this will be the text which will be completed. So it says that you should wear the bathing suit to the court. You should arrive at the courthouse and then met by bailiff who escort you to the courtroom. So this is how it completes this particular sentence. Now if you see what has happened, the chat GPT, which is trained with the data, and it is an unsupervised learning. It doesn't have a data, it does determine what it does it with the training set of data. It tried to generate a text based on this particular text which is given by, or which is the input. So the input is in white text. The yellow text is generated by GPT. Now what happens? It look into the text input and try to complete the sentence from there. What is missing here is the context. Context is that a lawyer will never wear a bathing suit to the court. If a human being has to complete this, they will use the context that a lawyer is going to the court. He's not sitting in his house. So he will use this context and write this particular complete the sentence, or not write the sentence like you will be wearing a bathing suit. Okay. The next sentence is okay, but this sentence of wearing a bathing suit is something. So this is one of the challenges. Now, also you have because as I said that it is unsupervised learning. So GPT try to find a pattern. So if it doesn't find a training data, it will try to find a pattern in the data. Supervise is like it is going to find out the data from the supervise is okay. Supervise means okay, fine. You have a guided one, which I showed you about cheese and all. The sequence of word phrases that are adjacent to the related text. That's how it has found out that, and try to use some kind of a pattern from the input. Okay, so this is how. Now, what is the future of GPT-3 and AI? GPT-3 has become very popular. Okay, and now GPT-3 is used in many ways. For example, it is used basically in customer services. So many of us can integrate. Actually, if you are, I don't know whether I will get more classes with you or not. Otherwise, I would have shown you that how in Amazon AWS, you have a kind of a feature called Lex. In Lex, when you create a bot, chat bot, you can integrate ChatGPT 3 with that. So what happens wherever there is a question? So you don't have to predefine the answer. For example, suppose if I write, hello, how can I help you today? Or how are you? What will be the possible answer for that? The possible answers will be, I'm fine. Somebody will say better. Somebody will say good. Somebody will say, I'm how, somebody will say something. So there are some possible answers which you will feed into chatbots. And based on that, a chatbot can alternate the answer for everybody. But if you integrate GPT-3 and you ask, the GPT-3 can integrate the answers and generate the answer on its own. You don't have to feed those possible answers like a predefined answers. So that is how customer services, especially in the chatbots and all the banks and all, they're using GPT-3 now, integrating that. And it gives a lot of value for your chatbots. And all chatbot is an online software which allow you to converse with the computer like humans. So we see it in the customer service. So you go to a bank website, you will see a chatbot will suddenly pop up, or any website, and try to suggest you to give you some idea. Okay. Suppose if you want to know the price, you want to know something, or you want to simplify the search and complicated search and all those kinds, it will do like that. Okay. So, but what if we have a complex questions? We don't have a frequently asked questions. In that case, can this chatbot use? See, if it is it's a normal question, frequently asked question, chatbot can answer. But if it is very complex question, then the user would like to speak to a human being. Sometimes you say, I don't want to talk to chatbot or AI. I want to talk to a human person. So GPT-3 is a game changer there, where GPT-3 can answer even a complex question and give a better customer experience. So it will give you accurate answer, or it will redirect you if it doesn't know the answer to somebody, just like a human being. Okay. So this is the machine learning algorithm which uses the insight from the huge corpus of the data and just learn like human being and all those kinds, right? So get a better service. So this is what I said. So you can integrate, most of the companies are integrated. Give me for a second, I'll just drink water. My throat is not well. It's giving me a lot of trouble. So one more example is like, if you're using something like when a human being try to learn to paint, when you are a kid, you might have seen that your school or maybe your parents have given you watercolor. Initially, they will never give a small child a watercolor because they know that they will not know how to mix water with the color and how to do it. And you will be using a wax color. Then suddenly you will start using the watercolor. After that, they will give you oil paints, and you will learn how to hold the brush. So AI develops a chatbot similarly in that way. If the steps is followed just like how a human being learn how to paint. I'm just giving you an example of that. Okay. And rebuild on their language. So it's more like human being learning in different stage. Okay. So let us now look at the ChatGPT 3 and the how the people are using. So normally there are lot of time when we can test the GPT with human being and try to find out, which is also called Turing test, try to find out certain skills. And it can be GPT write a complex software program. What happens when a AI act as a mediator to convert plain English into codes? So can we do that? So low coding can be done. But what about high coding or highly skilled work? Can it be done? So the other things which I have given you example is all about explanation of legal documents. You can use that. Translation service, you can use that. Medical answers, you can use that. You can solve a mathematical problem. You can develop a content. You can write a blog post, website creation. We are still so there are a lot of things which you can be done with this particular thing. But as I said that I've already pointed out that it has a lot of limitation. So that limitation is that uh, it still has not passed the Turing test. Your teachers will explain you what is a Turing test. So, but it's a matter of time because it's still uh, going ahead, and more interaction means in the form of data, better will be the result. And suddenly GPT-3 may raise the bar on your expectations. And so we have the next thing which has come up now, which is called GPT-4. And GPT-4 is very remarkable. Just give me a few seconds. Okay. So GPT-4, so there is a actually article which you all can read if you are fond of reading. This is called Attention All You Is All You Need, is based on certain things which where it explained that how the GPT-3 is time is based on large language modeling. Okay, LLM. And there's a new buzzing courses which is coming around called prompt engineering. How do you summarize the text? So large language modeling will respond with summarization of the text and give you, for example, if you have a book entire, uh, suppose I do sometime for my students, if I have a huge 3-4 pages of case study, and I know that students are not going to read so much. So I summarize it into one page, sometime into also one paragraph using GPT-3. So that you can do. Okay. So as I said that today, the chat GPT-3 had actually one thing that it will take the text as an input, and using a large language modeling process, it will give you text as an output. It will generate the text as an output. Text as an input, text as an output. It will not take image as an input. Okay. And it uses this model of large language modeling training. And this language modeling training basically called the large, they have the millions and billions of parameters. And this language modeling, which I have shown you in the previous slides, that how does it work? It converts into tokens, then stemming, all these things are done. And then it appears from the vast data available on the internet, like common crawls and all those things. It basically tokenize and interpret it and generate the content. So that was a process which was used, and the process was called large language modeling process. Okay. Okay, so this I'm just going to avoid this, as already I told you. This is also I told you. So how do you predict? For example, if you want to predict, so large language processing is also generating something which is I have already shown you. Suppose if you write, for example, you don't have to guide here. Example, if you write roses are and violets are, then automatically from the large corpus of the data, it will immediately say red, and it will immediately say violet. So in this case, we don't need it is like zero shot learning, not this thing. So you need to have so training data it will use. So GPT-4, which was released in March 2023, basically is something where it can take the data input in both the form. As I said, text input and text output in GPT-3 and 3.4. GPT-4 is multimodal. It means that it can take input in more than one source in both the form, text as well as image. So I will repeat again. GPT-3 and 3.5 would take input only in the form of text and give you output in the form of text. GPT-4 can take, which is called a multimodal, can take input, but it's not free. It's on cost, on subscription. So it will take the data into the form of text as well as image. But output will be always in the form of text. So maybe they may come out with a new version where the output also can be in the form of image. Some example of this we can look into. So OpenAI company, whose product is ChatGPT, as I said, it's a research company which has also developed a new version of which is called GPT-4. They wanted to actually understand and demonstrate how better this GPT-4 model as compared to human being. Like every model is tested with human, and GPT-3 failed in Turing test. So they wanted to test that it is better than the human capability. So they tested the GPT-4 on some high school exam in US, like SAT, advanced placement, post-graduation exam like GRE, and these exams that used regularly in the US. Okay. So also, they also tested it on bar exam, the exam which tests the knowledge and skills of lawyers before they get a license. So the green bar, if you can see here, it represents the GPT-4 model performance. And you can also see the two shades in green. Okay, one is a darker and one is a lighter. And some bar are regular green and some are darker green. You can see that. So this is because some exam question required the exam taker to look at both the question in the text and the figure or the image. In this case, the GPT-4 model, which can take both text and image as an input, was used. Other exam only required text as an input. So the different shade of green are to distinguish between this model. And blue represent the earlier model, the GPT-3 and 3.5. Now, along the x-axis, there are different exams. You can see the name of the exams are given here on the x-axis. And on the left, you can see the calculus, okay? And bar exam on the y-axis, on the y-axis, you can see the percentile. And so 85 percentile, if you can see here, with GPT-4. This means that your score was higher than 85% of people taking the test. So GPT-4 performed the worst is in the bottom 10 in the high school English literature and language exam, if you can see here. And also school mathematics. So let us take at the bar exam. Bar exam as an example, which is the sixth vertical, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this one. So the bars exam, sixth vertical, top bar from the left, the graph is saying that GPT-4 model scored top 10% of the test takers. That means that GPT-4 is going to be better at being lawyer than 90% of the people, the human people who are taking this test. So if being a lawyer meant that you had to take the bar exam every day, then use GPT-4 would be better than most of the lawyer. So large language modeling are excellent in memorizing and retaining the subject matter knowledge because they're trained on those data. See, when you're giving exam, what happens? Your memorization skills and your subject matter knowledge helps you in cracking those exams. So the good chunk of this bar exam is all about subject matter knowledge, the bar exam. That means real world examples and all those kinds. So the lawyer need to be able to work with the client on the basis of that subject knowledge, right? That's the reason why they are required to take this. In US, it's very difficult to get the license. So the big takeaway is that GPT-4 matches human level performance in high school exam, in bar exam. So we have compared how this model perform across the different now also the model which now from large language modeling, it has come to massive multitask language understanding, which is also called MMLU. Okay. Yes, this one. So MMLU means massive multitask language understanding. Okay. So multiple choice questions, for example, you give with different 57 different subject across science, technology, engineering, maths, humanities, social science, whatever, and give the multiple choice questions. You will be expert in only in one domain or maybe two or three domain. But you can give the example, you can give the multiple choice question from 57 subject, for example. And you will see in the top of the graph that the accuracy of GPT-4 will outperform. So human being in this way. So these questions are in English. It can be trained in, because it is trained on different expertise and different domain knowledge is built. So it can be. But nowadays they are using different languages also. Not only English is used as an input and output. You can use Italian, Spanish, German, French. Indian knowledge at present is not included. Okay. So GPT-4 is easily trained on this language. And you can see here, all these are the language in which the GPT-4 is getting trained. Okay. Swahili is also one language from India, or I don't know, from Sri Lanka or somewhere from else. I was really surprised to see this particular language is also integrated. Okay. So now in this thing, we want to know the data which is used to train GPT-4 and the model architect. This is one question. But OpenAI has actually not shared the information about this. GPT-4 technical report says that given both the competitive landscape and the safety, the large-scale model like GPT-4 contain no further detail about the architect and include model size, hardware training and all. So there's no information available on this. GPT 3.5 is significantly better than GPT 3 and step changing is 4. So 4 uses the similar techniques, that is large language modeling, which is used in 3.5 also. But we look at this technique that is made up of 3, but there is a better and added version of understanding which is created, which is I told you. And you can just go to the open research and you can find. And you can also understand some of the point which I try to gather from internet, that how GPT-4 is trained. Okay, which data sets are used and how it is trained, how GPT-4. So there are certain kinds of technical report which is present on OpenAI. I tried to read that and try to find out that how it has done. So I found that it uses something called reinforcement learning. In GPT-3 and 3.5, it was unsupervised and unsupervised learning. Here it is using reinforcement learning. So these models are trained by trying to minimize error. So when we look at large language model and try to determine if the text which is generated is good quality or in quantity it is good or not, we could use in this particular reinforcement model, what we use is the feedback from the people and to understand whether the text generated is good or not, just like a sentiment analysis or review from the people. Before you book any hotel or flight or any property, you look at the review, or you buy something, you look at the review. Similarly, here also it is like that. So you use same large language model, LLM, but along with that, you use also something, a feedback. And this model convert from large language model to reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF. So RLHF is used along with the supervised learning when training GPT-4. So let's see into detail. So I went through this particular paper in 2022, which is called Training Language Model to Follow Instruction with Human Feedback. And it gave me some information about how to use reinforcement learning from human feedback. So let's take a look at it. If we can look at the first step here over the left, this I've taken it from the Microsoft OpenAI site, and it says explain the moon landing to a 5-year old person, 6-year old kid. So the person who's skilled with word, see, here there is a context that moon landing can be explained in a simple level to a very difficult level. Simple level, again, will have a kind of a categories where how will you explain it to 6-year-old? First, the 6-year-old will hardly will know that moon is a satellite or a star. How do you explain that? Right? So, and what difference it will be from the people who are skilled. So then you have something it's called labeler. It uses something called labeler, where a person who's skilled working with the text data would then write out the model and write out. For example, they may include detail like in this, like it took place in 1969. The spaceship used was Apollo 11. Two American, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, became the first human being to walk on the moon. They will use tens of thousands of examples, which is there in the data set. And then they will fine tune it. They will pass this through the prompt till they get the expected outcome. And this expected outcome will be easy or will be perfect for the 6-year-old to understand. So you are writing all the details into moon landing into the prompt, and you are using the human feedback or human expertise to make it more simpler and summarize this. Okay. So this is how the fine tuning will happen with the model with the feedback. And every time when it comes, it will be rated from 1 to 7 by the model itself, by the model, to find out whether the quality of the output will match the requirement or not. Okay. So that is how it works. Okay. So just like this, if I show you. So I've said explain to the moonland, then the labeler is there who will put into some type of information, and then it is fine-tuned with supervised learning. The data set is used, all kind of information is fed in. You can see here. Yeah, is there any question? No? Okay. You can see here. So theory of gravity, can 6-year-old understand that? Can you make it simpler for 6-year-old? These are the labeler who has put this. Then you have to instruct GPT to make it very simple like that. People went to moon, they took pictures of what they saw and sent back to Earth so we could all see them. This will be the output after all these kinds of stages where it will go for remodeling and fine tuning. Okay. Similarly, one example of fine tuning will be this. If you want to use, how do you, these are the pictures of, you can see the parrots and how it is ranked. Then ranking also happened. So there's a huge thing to go. Let me see the time. Okay, fine. So this I will just skip now. Okay. I'll just skip all these things. So these are some vendors who are already developing generative AI: Oracle, Salesforce, SAP, Microsoft, you already know, Google, and what are the kinds of jobs you can get if you learn generative AI tool. You'll become AI engineer, data scientist, data engineer, software engineer. These are the posts you can see here. So again, you have to learn the popular AI supporting language, Python, C++, Java, API, application programming, interface development. You're required to understand the large language modeling used in GPT and technology and how does it work. Okay. So the career in generative AI is huge. There's an ample opportunity for you people to develop the skill and get a job in this because the world is moving toward that. Whether you like it or somebody like it or not, but the people are using ChatGPT 3 or the open AI tools are huge. Okay. So all companies are using it. I'm just not going to go to this. Yes. Now, what are the OpenAI platform for developers? So let me give you some example. The OpenAI platform for developer are Codex. This was the first platform. You can use it. DALI, Playground. These are some popular common developer. ChatGPT is simple and more versatile. You can write a blog. You can write a code. You can do it free of cost, and it will give you explanation also. You can generate an article or text on it. You can ask a question. You can ask to write a code in Python, HTML, or whatever, a Node.js. All these kinds of things you can do it. Codex was actually used as to develop by the developer. Mostly, it is a popular tool for developer to use and develop the codes. But ChatGPT understand NLP. Codex also understand code. So the limitation of that is that sometimes ChatGPT will provide you wrong information, but it's not. So I'm just going to show you some demo now before I go ahead. I'll show you that as a student, how you can use it. So I'm in this ChatGPT. I'm using ChatGPT 3.5. Okay. But if I have to upgrade to this, see here, I have to pay. Okay. Till ChatGPT 3.5 model, it is free. So I have to pay $20 per month. Okay. That's the cost. So ChatGPT, it is free. It can do a lot of things for me. For as a student, suppose if you want to write a mail for your resume, a cover letter. I'm just giving you some example how you can use it effectively. One very important part is the prompt engineering. This is called prompt. How well can you explain? Because this is again the guidance, one-shot learning, which we say. ChatGPT 3.5 required one-shot learning, supervised learning. So you have to give a guidance, and your guidance is proper, it will give you proper answer. So I'll say, write a cover letter to apply for developer job in Accenture. Highlighting expertise in Python and project that was the on that one. So I'm just giving few things. Okay, I just okay. So it's trying to understand. So it's giving me a format. It's giving me a guidance. So I have to write it like this. So I don't know how to write. So I have to write in this form where I have to write my name, address, employee, I'm writing to express my strong interest in developer position at Accenture as advertised on your company website with my extensive experience in Python developed. See here, if you can read. And then it is giving me a guidance. So here, natural language processing, user interface. So with this, you also understand that if you want to go for a developer job in Accenture, what are the qualities you may require? All these kinds. I'm confident and all this. So this is something. And attach your resume, it's giving your guidance also. Suppose the next example is I want to write my resume. Okay. Right. Resume with input. Application. Let's say PhD. Yes, let's see. I'm just writing anything which is coming in my mind. Skill, or I'll not write this. I'll just say resume, best resume for developer. And company. So see here. So see here, there's a white box which has come and it is giving me a sample of it. So it's giving me a kind of a template and a sample. Okay. The next example is that suppose if I want to summarize something. Okay. Let's say I have, or I want to suppose I want to write a code. Write a code in Python on so it's telling me which library to import and all those kinds, import and all these kinds of in Python. And then it gives me a guidance also. The beauty of this is that it is giving me a code along with that. See what the chatbot can do. And then it's giving me a guideline also. Okay. So it is giving me a full guidance. And the second thing is you can apply, best thing is write example poster of annual college. You don't know what kind of thing should come. So it's going to, give you some kind of a, or the best thing is which I did. Give me itinerary for London trip of 10 days from 23rd December to 3rd January 2024. So it's going to, build a itinerary for me. See what I can do. Check in, stroll around, British Museum, traditional London tea. It's just giving me a kind of it's making it for me. Hyde Park, all these kinds. So you can do a lot of things. You can write book summary. You can write a kind of anything. You can what you can do is you can summarize something. For example, let's say I'll just show you some example of something which I have done. You can write a emceeing script. You can write MCQ, for example, MCQ on AI at now 11. So see, it's going to generate the MCQ. See here. So it makes your job very simple. Then you can find out also something. Find books on, or maybe website to book, pen, pipette, and laundry. See here. So all these things, it's like giving you, it's generating all these text. Suppose if I want to, hello, can you hear me now? Suchitra ma'am,
Sundar. Yeah. Yes,
can
ma'am.
you write in the chat box? Can you write in the chat box? Is it okay? Okay, fine. Nobody's giving answer. Okay. So this is one example of text-to-text generation. Let us now look into some other examples. Okay. I'll stop sharing it. I'll show you now text to image. So I've gone to Microsoft DALL-E, which is also free, but I'll show you what are the things, how you can use it. So you can see the screen. So I've just logged in into hotmail.com. You have to use a Hotmail, or that's a Microsoft mail domain. So DALL-E 3 I'm using now here. But here what happens, it works on rewards. Reward means that you have to have, I have only 9 reward points left. And based on that, I can use. After that, I have to pay for it. So you can see here, I can write a text and it will create an image. You can see all these images. I can use a idea also, what kind of, suppose I don't know what kind of, so I can use this idea, animated movie scene, what you want to do. Okay. You can see it. Image creator uses a generative AI to, from text to image. How do I use? You have to log in with the Microsoft account, and the new user can grant 25 image. After that, you have to pay for it. Is there a waiting list? No waiting list. There's an upfront cost. English language. How do I create a prompt? You can just write certain adjective, location. I'll just show you and do that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just write. A house with banana plantation. So I will just give few more detail in hill. Instead of banana, I will write coffee. So I've just given some prompt and it is trying to generate. It's going to take time to generate. So it is basically now looking into the huge corpus of data. So it has given me two choices. And I can suppose, let's say I use this. Then what I can do is I can edit this. Okay. Or if I'm happy with this, I can download. So I'm going to customize it. So now I'm into their editing tool, which is a designer tool. I can do something out of it. I can remove something. I can add something. Okay. So in this, I can, if I want, I can remove the background. Now, restore. And suppose if I want to add something, some visuals. So I can use it from here, or I can use a photo picture and I can say sun and try to take. So I have some pictures of sun. So I want to use that. Okay, this is not good. So it depends on your prompt, which is called also prompt engineering. Okay, I may generate something. So what I can do is I can add on, I can, if you want, so you have to learn this tool actually. Okay. And all these are there, cropping and all these kinds of things are there. You can add my media from your phone. You can add certain photos from there and all these things. It is not matching. So you have to find out and you have to add certain stuff. If you want to add, you can add a text to it. All these kinds of things you can do it. Okay. So this is how you can generate from a text a image. Okay. And you can download it. So this is one thing. Next, I want to show you now how to use text to video. Text to text I have shown you, which is GPT. Text to image I have shown you, which is DALI E. Codex also you can use, and then I can for text to code. Then I will show you now text to video. Very interesting one, which I like the most. And then maybe if I have a time, I will show you some real examples also how it is used in the real world of advertisement and marketing. Okay, it will take time, but let me show you. So this is a site called InVideo. So I'm going to just write a topic, okay? So I have to be very clear with my what I want. Okay. Uh, so I'll just write conflict management between two factory worker by uh, manager. Let me see. So actually, you have to give a script. I have not given any script, so it will do a bad job. Okay. It is going to write its own script, but normally thing is that you have to give a proper script, just like a video recording. You have a proper script and you do that. Okay. So I have just written some topic randomly and have given not given. So it's a very like kind of a zero shot learning for them. So let me see what it generates. Nowadays, there's a lot of marketing and advertisement company using text to video to use. You might have seen certain. So I'll just see here, and it's going to generate now. If I would have given a script, it would have done my job better, but I have not done it. So it is generating the script on its own. I've just given a scenario, which is not good example of prompt. So what it is doing, it is trying to generate the script. After it generates the script between the scenario which I have given a conflict management between two workers by a manager, and I have not given any script. It's planning the video scenes now. After that, it will import certain free what you called images from the stock of images it has, and then it will export that from various site. It is creating scene one by one, so it has created 8 scenes. Out of that, uh, one is created. So you can see it has already created a name. I should have given this, but it is already doing on my own. This is the power of AI. So already the resolution is also developed. So 7 out of 10, 32% of the video is ready now. And I'll show you. I can go ahead and edit also later. This is in video is one of the wonderful tool of AI. And you can upgrade. See that the problem is that at present it allow me to create only 1 or 2 videos, and it will have some kind of a watermark also. But if I subscribe to it, so I can just show you the video which it has generated. It's because conflict, if not handled properly, can wreak havoc on productivity, morale, and overall team dynamic. Picture this. It's a bustling factory floor. So you can see there's a watermark. So if I subscribe to it, this watermark will not come. Machinery. Joe, a seasoned beverage factory, insists on using the traditional method. Well, Sam. All these will not come. It will look like an original video, and there's no copyright issue in this. The voice also, I can choose the voice which I want. I can upload my voice also in this. So automatically it is doing some kind of a general kind of a talk. Okay? So this is what, if I want to edit it, I can just go ahead and I can edit block by block, frame by frame. Okay. So I can just go here, I can change this. I can edit the script, you can see here. This is automatic generated. So I can just go ahead and I can edit it, what I want. And let's say, so all these I can do it and I can recreate the video. Okay. Then I can export this video. So this is how the example of generative AI. I'll show you now few example of that. Okay. So I'll show you some companies how they have used the generative AI to create their advertisement campaign, right? You can see it. So this is his, advertisement. They created this with the generative AI. So they have written this prompt, ketchup, that is built. You can even design your product label. You can design your product packaging. So they're giving all these kinds of input, what they want in the ad. So this is how, after giving lot prompt, it has come like this. Right, but see, there's a bad use of it also, students. The bad use is that there are a lot of deep fake videos which are coming out. You have heard about deep fake. So the deep fake is where, people are using deep fake video. For example, like I will just show you in the YouTube one deep fake video of Obama. He's talking nonsense about Donald Trump, or even Donald Trump deep fake video. Let's share this with you. You can see here. You can read if you're not able to hear it.
Never say those things. So, for instance, me say things like, I don't know, in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point
This
in
is a
time,
deep fake video, but you
even
can't
if they
make
would
out
never
that
say
this is
those
not
things.
Obama who's speaking this.
So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things.
This is he's explaining
At least
about
not
it,
in a public
but
address.
actual
But
video I'll just show you.
someone else would.
It got me thinking about my
This is a
full-time
deep fake
employees
video.
and their ability to survive on $8 an hour in New York City. And foremost in all of our minds has been the loss and the grief felt by the people of Orlando. Most of us don't get our health care through the marketplace. We get it through our job or through Medicare or Medicaid. And what you should know is that thanks
So
to the
you have to
Affordable Care
capture the
Act,
moment
your
of his
coverage
facial
is better
expression,
today than it was before.
lip
Women can
movement,
get free checkups.
and his eyes
You can't
movement,
get
and you have
charged
to
more
map the
just for
model to
being a
the
woman.
kind. So you have
Give his
to,
employees come together to
give
pass
a lot of
Congress's bill that
his
would boost America's
data as the
very,
form of
very hard
Obama
times.
some
speaking
progress,
certain words,
at least within
and then you
the
deep
small
fake,
confines of the legal community. I
and
think
then
it's
he's
real
got
important.
you to match with it.
President Barack Obama.
You can see that.
When you giving a speech, make sure you use a lot of pauses.
America's businesses have created 14.5 million new jobs over 75 straight months.
We're developing technology. Every technology can be used in some negative way, and so even one of the interesting directions is
Stop
that.
here. Now, is there any questions you have, students? If there's a question, I can take it. You can put it in the chat also. I would like to show you also one more. So there was an ad, yeah, Mecha. So there's a company which is endorsed by Dia Mirza called Beko. So they created a advertisement because see, for creating an advertisement using a AI to use somebody's what you called to use somebody's face, somebody's voice, you need to have a permission from that person, from the legal point of view or from a copyright point of view. So Becco Diamirja is a brand ambassador. So they created a advertisement with her consent, which has used this. I'm just going to show you if it works. Okay, it's not coming here. Maybe in the next class I will show you. Okay. Okay, then students. So this is for the day. So I don't want to start. Maybe if I get one more class, I will show you more example of how practically you can use this generative AI to do many of the work in the professional way. We can see how you can do marketing with generative AI, how you can generate advertisement campaign, Instagram post, you can create a kind of a reel and you can promote your product. So a lot of things you can do in terms of marketing with the help of generative AI, and how many companies are already using it. That example also we will see. You get it next class with you all. Okay. So bye for the day. Have a nice weekend. Bye. So I'm ending the session here. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Thank you.